I mean, I've heard a lot of people tell me just stay independent as long as you can. If you're going to sign with a publisher or a record label, like make sure they're like your biggest fans, you know? Make sure they genuinely love what you do.
Welcome to Boston Music Explorer. I'm Dan.
I'm Jack.
And we're the
Barton Brothers.
We're songwriters and performers that are newly based in Boston.
This podcast is our excuse to talk to people who are doing interesting things in the Boston music scene. If you're doing something cool, we want to hear about it.
If you like what you hear and want to send some love to the algorithm gods, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. And enjoy this episode of Boston Music Explorer. Welcome back, my friends. 2 shows in 2 weeks. We are back in business. And today on the podcast, we have the talented and charming Lauren Weintraub. Lauren is a 19-year-old singer-songwriter and is currently a songwriting major at Belmont University in Nashville. And she's now making the transition to Nashville full-time. So it was an exciting time to be talking to her as she doubles down on her career path and takes a huge step forward. We had a lot to talk about as Jack and I were both heavily into music theater, songwriting, and performing since we were about her age, except that she is light years ahead of where we were at the time, so there's that. She was recently on America's Got Talent and has handfuls of awards to her name that I won't get into now. I'll put some links in the show notes. But this was a really relaxed, fun conversation that jumps around a lot. So I won't waste too much time with an introduction. Instead, you'll hear us kick it off with a few thoughts about Chick-fil-A and Chipotle as we make our way towards music, songwriting, street performing, and beyond. So enjoy, rate, review, and pass it on to a friend. We now have over 1,000 downloads of the show and 5 5-star reviews. Our next goal is 10, so please jump into the iTunes store and let us know what you think. We are happy to give you a shout out if you do so. It's at Lauren Weintraub on Instagram and laurenweintraub.com. We are at the Barton Brothers on Instagram and Facebook and thebartonbros.com. That's where you find us. Check the show notes for more relevant links and enjoy the episode.
Chipotle is so necessary.
It is.
We went to Chick-fil-A last night for like a suburban throwback.
Do they have it here?
No, it was in like the suburbs.
Oh.
Driving back from New Hampshire.
We have Chick-fil-A on campus.
That's
Dangerous.
what mine was too.
So
It
dangerous.
was free with our meals.
Yeah, same.
Right.
Our games all the way.
Yeah, Laura said she had on like they would have it in the high school cafeteria. That's how you like indoctrinate the kids
Jesus.
with that
Hey, get them going.
Chick-fil-A juice, extra young. All right, we're rolling here. This is Boston Music Explorer, and today we have Lauren Weintraub in the house. Everybody can excuse the sound of the air conditioner. It is the hottest day of 2018 so far, and I hope, period.
Yeah.
But welcome
Thank
to the
you.
podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. I'm not good at these transitionary things. You wanted to start off by telling us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and what you're up to.
Yeah, so my name is Lauren. I know you guys, but hello
Indeed.
to everyone listening. I'm from Sudbury, Massachusetts. I grew up there basically my whole life until I went to school last year in Nashville. Basically, I grew up doing theater, tons of theater. Totally thought I wanted to like go get a BFA and be on Broadway. And I discovered songwriting like my first year of high school.
Okay.
And that's when I started writing, and the rest is kind of history.
Nice.
Yeah.
What were your, what shows did you do?
I did Annie like way too many times.
As Annie?
Yes. I sang Tomorrow probably 100 times
Oh.
total.
Yeah, that kind of
That's a good show.
that
It's
reads,
done well.
Yeah.
It's a great show. Yeah, it was so fun, but
Yeah, the theater I was at in Denver just did that this last year, and it's like super cute. Everyone like hates doing it though. Everyone's like, "Oh, Annie, we're doing it again." It's pretty cute.
by like the 5th time I was like, okay, I should probably...
This is over.
Yeah, I'm getting too old for
I
this.
hope I can outgrow this anytime. Did you fully transition out of theater when you started writing, or is it something you kind of like all through high school you were doing theater, songwriting, performing, copy shops? Like what kind of started to take priority as you got different interests?
I don't like to put myself in a box, I guess, so I kind of never really gave one or the other up, but songwriting kind of slowly took like up the majority of my time. But I did a show like at the Huntington Theater
Oh, nice.
like 2 years ago, so it's still something I love, and I love acting, but songwriting's like where my heart is right now, for sure.
That's
Yeah.
I think I would say pretty similar to us. I mean, we did theater growing up, but Jack in
I did
particular.
theater full time for like 5 years.
Yeah, did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss it a lot. I miss the community and like
Yeah.
the vibe of the theater experience, but it's not like if you're not bound for Broadway, which I certainly was not, it kind of comes to an end.
Right. If you hit the local ceiling.
Yeah, once you hit the ceiling, it's over.
I mean, it's a totally different industry, like
Right.
so different.
Were you a dancer too growing up?
Uh-huh.
Were you in like ballet classes
everything,
as a kid?
yeah. I mean, I loved it and I still love it, but it's very intense. I feel like the music scene's a little bit more chill, but in different ways. I don't know.
I could kind of see that, and I
Yeah.
do see how there wouldn't be like a lot of crossover to the skill sets, because one of our first episodes we interviewed Desi Oakley, who's on the National Waitress tour.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's so cool.
She's like super nice, crazy talented, obviously, and is a singer-songwriter as well. But you can see like trying to balance those is impossill, and it's
And
not.
being on tour too.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the schedule.
That show's so funny though.
I know.
That's like one of my favorite shows.
We are like
Diehard
Sarah
Sarah Bareilles
Me
fans.
too. We'll get along
I
well.
think so.
I'm obsessed with her.
So in that case, I guess we have a pretty clear picture of what high school must have been like for you, because it's probably
Yes.
very similar to what it was like for us.
Yes.
Were you a choir kid as well?
I never actually did choir, but I did
Wow.
a cappella, so that was
Oh,
my thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Was it like jazz acapella or like the like Pitch
Like
Perfect
Glee
style?
It was
acapella?
like Pitch Perfect style
Oh
acapella.
yeah.
Yeah, we were all like super close.
Mm.
People like dated everyone. It was
Yeah.
a good time.
Okay, yeah, we're kind of familiar.
I was
with
always
that.
so resentful towards Pitch Perfect because when we did a cappella in high school, but it was like jazz choir, and it was very dorky, and we didn't know. I mean, we sounded good,
Very
but when you watch those
jazzy.
movies and it's like everyone's like auto-tuned to Jesus, and it sounds incredible. You're like,
Oh.
this is not what anyone sounds like ever.
Yeah, not at all.
Why is that so true?
If you just want to see a bunch of like virgin 16-year-olds whisper into a mic, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, trying so hard. Is
Oh
this
my
scatting? Am I
gosh.
scatting yet?
We did like so in Pitch Perfect they go to like the competition or whatever.
Regionals.
The ICC.
Regionals.
We did like the ICH essays, which
Oh,
is
okay.
like the high school version.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
But it was very intense.
I
Like
bet.
people take it very seriously.
Yeah,
I know. I miss those days when the world was small enough. It's like this matters.
this is
It matters
my
so
whole life.
much. Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
simpler.
But you
I would
stopped.
say
Did you
simpler
wait when you did songwriting in high school? Did you like drop out of theater? Like, were you a theater kid in high school too?
I never did the shows at my school just because like you had to go like every day after school,
Right.
and I kind of wanted to write songs.
Wow, you started taking it seriously
Pretty
pretty early.
seriously.
Yeah.
So you're at Belmont now, right?
Yes.
And what are you studying there?
My major is songwriting.
Okay, good deal. Like,
Yeah.
kind of
People like me who don't know, Belmont is Belmont in Nashville.
It is in Nashville. Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's kind of, is it like the Berkeley of Nashville?
That's what people describe it as. Yeah.
Okay, good deal.
That's what I would say.
Is it only a music school or music industry school?
No, they actually have like a huge nursing like major.
Okay.
Like half my friends are nursing majors. It's really weird. So no.
And you are making the full-time transition to Nashville this month.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I bet. I mean,
amazing.
so kind of talk to us about what has led you there, because I mean, you're in the middle of school. You could easily for the next 3 years be like coming back and forth. Why does it feel like it needs to be a full-time transition at this
Yeah, I
point?
mean that's a great question. I just love it there. I think it's similar to Boston in the way that like people are just really cool and like chill and vibey, but the music is just everywhere, and like
Right.
I write songs like every day when I'm there, and I can perform and sing my own stuff, which I like love doing.
Right.
And I probably will come back here like every now and then to perform just because I loved
of course.
street performing, but
Right.
it just feels like it's time, and I don't know, my life is kind of there now, which is
Right.
weird to think that it's not here anymore, but
Right. When slowly you're like,
I know.
your book of connections starts like
Moving.
outpacing what you had back home. It's like, oh, geez.
it's crazy.
Did you just finish freshman year right now?
Yep.
Nice.
3 more to go.
Nice. So we listened a little bit, and you definitely have a country sound, but you're from Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, I'm
Did the
from
country
here.
sound come authentically to you, or like obviously authentically, but when did that? Was that a transition, or were you always a country singer?
I used to hate country music. Like,
Interesting.
if you asked me like 3 years ago, I probably would have said like I literally hate it.
Really?
But I don't know. I started like visiting Nashville and then living in Nashville, and it
Right.
kind of just like seeped into my blood. And then I was like, oh, there's no avoiding this
It's
now.
kind of
Like country
inevitable.
music
isn't
now.
it?
Yeah, I know. And I was like, guys, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to do that. But I kind of like what I've been doing recently is like a folk country
Yeah,
pop mix. So.
absolutely.
Totally.
It's not full like country. but-
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, the country is having like a respectable moment in the sun in that there is like some proper crossover happening and some like real mainstream stuff that's not like that you wouldn't just hear on country radio.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
used to-
Stapleton-esque stuff.
right, exactly. And you can't just point to Taylor Swift for that. There's a lot going on. Chris Stapleton, like you said, or like Maren Morris,
Mhm, I love
who
her.
just got like,
The
you know,
pop
is
cut,
now
yeah.
like a pop star.
Yeah.
So there is definitely some crossover happening. It's a good time to be doing that.
It
Would you
is.
say that you're like, so if you weren't into country as a kid, what were your musical influences? Like,
I mean, musical theater. That
Well,
was
yeah.
like, I think that's part of why I started writing. It kind of, I don't know, it was always just like in my head, like chords and all that stuff. But Sarah Bareilles was like the first songwriter I started listening to. Obviously Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But now I listen to a lot of like John Moreland, Sean McConnell, that kind of like acoustic
Okay.
singer-songwriter
Good
kind
deal.
of stuff. Laurie McKenna, if you know who she is.
I don't think I'm familiar. Yeah.
Laurie McKenna is my like idol. She's
genre?
from Stoughton. Is that how you say it?
From where?
She's from Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Stoughton. I feel like it's called
Stoughton, Staunton.
Stoughton. I can't
Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
pronounce.
Stoughtho.
Worcester, yeah.
But yeah, she's an amazing songwriter.
Awesome.
Amazing songwriter.
So you are 19, is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, like, we feel like our interests were, I think, maybe similarly developed at that time, but it was
Yeah.
not a professionalized operation in the way that
sure.
yours seemed to
Yeah,
be.
you're rolling.
Was it like super like supportive parents that kind of like got you on a certain track, or were you like pretty young, like, all right, mom and dad, like let's start doing this thing. I need to put out an album. Like, how does one, like, you know, I was writing songs on my piano and being like in crappy high school bands, but I was not putting out professionally produced records
Yeah.
and you know, setting up co-writes, anything
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, like you're doing now. So what was that transition like?
I mean, it's definitely like a lot because my parents, like, I'm so lucky to have parents that like want me to do this and want me to follow my dreams, because a lot of my friends, like, their parents are like, you can't go to school for music, and my parents are so cool because they're like, you can, like, I'm majoring in songwriting.
Right.
But I don't know, I've always been really determined. Like, it's just kind of in my blood. And I think when I stopped doing theater like full time, I like needed something to like schedule and like I need to be doing stuff all the time,
Okay.
or else I get so bored. So
Right.
that's when I kind of figured out that people write songs with other people,
Yeah.
which I didn't know,
Right.
and started doing that. It's kind of weird at first
Yeah.
because when you don't write with people and then you start writing with people, it's like, this is weird.
Right.
But
100%.
now
Absolutely.
it's just like normal to me, which is crazy.
Well, that's great. I mean, we're like, our first co-writes were like with each other because
Right.
for years.
That's helpful. That's good.
I think it's a start because for years we were writing independently and never wrote together.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think that's a start. But even now, we're finally, it's like, so
Yeah.
this co-write thing, maybe we should set some of those
Yeah,
up. That
yeah,
seems to be
yeah.
like, so we're at the very beginning of that as well. So.
Yeah.
But did you, because we've, heard similar stories where a lot of the times it's where parents are kind of like, well, we set you up with studio time. We want you to meet with this producer. We want you to meet with this person. Was it ever like that, or were you the one that was at the wheel, kind of making those moves yourself?
I want to say it was always me. Like, my parents were never super like involved.
Okay.
They were very like, go for it, like, do it, but you got this. Like, they don't know anything about music, like the business or
process.
anything.
Okay.
So they were like, you know what, you do this, and for that I am so grateful
Yeah.
because it's made me like independent, and
Right.
I had to figure out how to learn the ropes by myself.
Did you what was your starting point? Did you research the business yourself, or were you kind of just like, I'm gonna go out and perform as much as I can and see what happens? Like, what was your starting point?
I'm trying to think. I did like an open mic when I was 15.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where I like got my start. I visited Nashville for the first time when I was like 16.
Okay.
Hated it because all I saw was downtown and the inside of a studio.
Bachelorette parties
Yeah.
and-
So I saw Broadway and then the inside of a studio. So I was like, I hate Nashville, whatever.
Right.
Came back, actually saw Nashville, and was like, oh, I'm in love with this city.
There you go.
And yeah, like, I don't know. I kind of just dove into it.
Went for it?
yeah, I just went for it. I was like, well, I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
We had a similar experience with Nashville where it'll be fun to go a second time.
Yeah.
But it was very much like, well, I guess we're at this music conference, and then now we're going to these
Right.
bars that have like girls in boots, and that's
Yeah.
like I guess what,
Oh,
this is what
yeah.
Nashville is.
Right.
No, like not at all. I never go downtown anymore because
Yeah.
I hate it.
Right.
The rest of Nashville's amazing.
Isn't it kind of set aside by a bridge, like you cross?
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
And it's like very
East
different.
There's like a
Nashville,
river,
right?
a bridge. East Nashville's cool.
Yeah.
I live in like the Music Row area,
Okay.
12 South area. It's really
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should come a second time. I'll show you my taco
I
joints.
think we're going in
That's
2 weeks.
exactly what we need. We'll be there the 22nd through the 28th.
Yeah,
Dope.
yeah, taco joints is what I need.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, Boston Mexican food, get it together.
Okay,
No
I
kidding.
hated tacos, and then I moved to Nashville, and I was like,
I get it.
I can't believe that I thought I hated tacos.
See,
I just hate
It's
Boston
a
tacos.
testament to Boston tacos because no one should be allowed to say I hated tacos at any point in their
Exactly.
life.
You heard it here, everybody.
When did you decide that the school you're going to now that was where you were going to end up? Did you like apply around, or was it specifically because it was in Nashville that you went?
I applied to 5 schools.
Okay.
Tons of my friends were applying to like 18 schools, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, hope I get into one of these.
Right. USC, NYU.
I applied
Berkeley.
to USC, they rejected me. I applied to NYU, got waitlisted. Applied to University of Miami, got rejected. Got into Berkeley and Belmont.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was probably kind of easy because you had fallen in love with Nashville.
I just fell in love with Nashville, and
Yeah.
Berkeley's awesome. I did a summer program there for
Yeah.
5 weeks. Loved it.
Sure.
But I was just ready for a change, and I wanted to be like, I knew that I was going to move to Nashville anyways eventually, so I was
Right.
like, I might as well get a 4-year head start.
Yeah,
Then
talk about the
move and not
connections you
know
build
anybody, you know?
with the infrastructure like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's somewhat
pretty
answers
smart.
my next question. But do you kind of see yourself staying in Nashville like for the long term, or is it kind of tough to say? Obviously, when you're 19, it's kind of tough to.
I don't think it's tough to say, but then
Yeah.
again, like, ask me a year from now, I don't know.
Right, yeah.
But
You think so?
I think so. And I mean, I want to be touring too
Right.
at some point. But I feel like Nashville's going to be my home base, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, we can definitely see that, and
Yeah.
talk about an interesting comparison between Boston and Nashville and any other place. It seems like it's a place that people stay, and I know we've said this before, probably on mic and definitely to each other, that we kind of started this podcast because Jack moved to Boston not quite a year ago, and me
Nice.
not quite 2 years ago. So we're like, all right, what a great way to meet people who are doing cool things locally.
That's awesome.
And we was like, why do you stay in Boston? It seems like a lot of people come to Berkeley and leave. Why are you here? And it turns out like pretty much everyone we've talked to is kind of making plans to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really does seem like a place that people are kind of like moving through, and that Nashville is a
Yeah.
destination for sure.
I mean, I love Boston.
Yeah.
I love it. But wait, where did you guys move from?
Colorado.
Yeah, Denver. area.
Oh, dope. My roommate last year is from Colorado.
Yeah.
She's
Good
like,
place.
you have to visit. Yeah.
It's the
Shout
best.
out.
She says it's just like freaking beautiful.
Yeah, it's crazy beautiful.
Yeah.
Pretty stellar.
On topic, we're contemplating, going back and making it the new home base because,
Yeah.
neither of us have lived in Denver proper, but the music scene is doing really well there.
That's what I've heard. I've
And,
heard it's like poppin'.
It really is. It's good. Like when I was a kid, none
That was
of
like,
this will
well,
make any
the
sense
Fray
to
and
you, but
stuff.
like the Fray is from
I
Denver.
love the fray.
But like
awesome.
they were like a bunch of like pop punk
You'll
bands.
never understand.
But like
I was a boy.
or like Tickle Me Pink, like all these like
oh my god. I
taking
forgot
back-
about
Wow.
Chicken Pink.
yeah, like
That's a
all these
throwback.
really crappy
insane.
pop punk bands was kind of the Denver sound, and now it's getting like a more of an identity that
Mhm.
makes sense to me.
Did you ever get the vibe that Boston has its own identity, or did you kind of get? We've gotten mixed reviews on people saying it's kind of a fend for yourself kind of city, so there's not much of a community. But other people have said kind of different things, and I know you might have a different perspective growing up here.
I think New York is a fend for yourself city.
Yeah.
I think Boston can be, but it doesn't have to be. Like, I feel like street performing is a community in itself.
Yeah.
Totally.
We should talk about that a little bit because that's
Yeah.
how you and I met.
I know.
And you alluded to playing covers before. So I just started street performing at Faneuil Hall, but you've been doing it for a good while, right?
Yeah, I think this is my 3rd or 4th summer. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's street performing treated you?
Good. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like my job this summer.
Yeah.
All my friends are like working as like waitresses, and I get to perform every day,
That's awesome.
which is like really cool.
Yeah.
And I meet people from like everywhere. I met Italians yesterday. I met people from China. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And they're all taking my music back
Yeah,
to where they
absolutely.
live. Which is
That's
cool.
really awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think I mean, you have to think that it's really kind of improved your comfortability on stage and the way you perform. Any other like huge takeaways that you've like come away with that you will take to your own shows in the future, touring, that sort of thing?
I think street performing is why I like can perform comfortably. Like,
Sure.
I started 4 summers ago. I had like an hour set list that I would repeat because I didn't know enough songs. And I like wouldn't talk at all. I was like super shy. But like street performing, people have no reason to stop and listen to you.
Exactly.
Right.
So when you get them, you're like, okay, I kind of know like I'm doing something right, and it's a lot of trial and error. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's why I'm comfortable just like talking into a mic, and
Right.
it's being like, hey, what's up? Like,
Right.
this is me. But yeah, it's definitely helped my confidence and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
I'm trying to learn those things as quickly as possible.
It's not easy.
Yeah, there's no doubt that there's a learning curve, and
Yeah.
you want to make that as short as possible so that you can kind of like start making the kind of money that you know is possible.
Right.
Because when you first start out, like you said, you don't really talk into the mic, you don't really
Right.
acknowledge, because since it doesn't feel like a concert, it feels uncomfortable saying, thanks everybody,
Yeah.
my name is such and such, the next song is this and this, because
Yeah.
people are literally walking by you. And so I kind of treated myself as background music, so people treated me as background music.
Right.
But once you start like communicating to people that this is a concert or
Right.
something like
Right.
it, then
Right.
they'll start
Sticking around.
engaging a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself does Nashville have street performing? Is that a thing?
So they
There
have
might be
like
so many
people
people.
downtown street performing, but
Not really.
I don't
Not
love
really a
I don't
thing.
love being downtown. It's just like not my vibe. And you can like perform in the bars, like the honky tonks downtown.
Right.
But it's like 6-hour sets.
Yeah, and
And
probably
I'm
doesn't
just
pay nearly
huge.
as well.
And it's all
All
country music,
covers.
right?
Yeah.
All country covers.
Yeah, you have to know like all the top 100 country covers, and
Right.
I'm just like not ready for that.
Probably half the money that you're making in Boston. Like it
Yeah, I
wouldn't
bet.
add up at all.
Yeah, because everyone's like drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just like woohoo!
Right.
It's 50 cents.
So that
Yeah.
doesn't really add up so much.
Yeah.
In that case, where do you see yourself taking the operation now that you're like making the transition, doing more co-writes, getting away
Yeah.
from Faneuil Hall? What's
I
next
know.
for you?
I guess just writing. I'm really trying to work on my writing, and I want to make a record this fall.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I want to like write for a few more months, kind of like get it all out of me for now, and then
Right.
record.
See what sticks.
But I don't know. I'm just trying to like network and meet people, and I don't know. I feel like if you kind of like know what you want and make certain goals, they kind of, if you visualize them, they can kind of just start happening.
Sure.
Yeah.
You just came out with a single.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's called Kiss and
Kiss
Run.
and
Really, really
Run.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Is that something that you think is going to be on a future album, or is that just kind of going to be a one-off while you explore the?
I think that was kind of like a fun summer bop.
Okay.
The
Summer
stuff.
bop.
I mean, I love. Oh yeah, it's a summer bop for sure. But the stuff I've been writing recently is more like lyric heavy.
Okay.
More like, I don't know. You don't have to think about it too hard, but it makes you think. I feel
Requires
like.
a little more attention.
Yeah.
Than,
And it's more like acoustic. I want like harmonicas, cellos,
oh, there you go.
Americana kind of vibe.
Nice.
So nothing too like bubblegum country pop, but more
Right.
like folk.
A little less
Americana.
radio forward.
Yeah,
Right.
which is like whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I thought for a long time like everything I write has to be for the radio, and then
Right. This is not a hit. This is a hit. This is not a hit.
Yeah.
yeah, and then I met some of my favorite writers in Nashville who are like geniuses, and I was like, oh, well, they're not writing like country hits every day. Like you just have to write what you want to write.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
I think we've had that experience too, where it's kind of, obviously our recording operation is all home, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like, especially once you're getting started, you just want everything that you put out there to be a smash.
Right.
Especially as you're trying to just get any sort of traction going.
Yeah.
And so it's tough to be like, well, this artsy-fartsy song that maybe 10 of my friends will like, but I really like it. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough to motivate yourself to put that stuff out there.
It's so true.
I'm assuming when you go there, do you record any of your own stuff at all, or do you exclusively have you just used studios?
I've been working on it. I try.
Dude,
Logic.
same. I'm not like preaching. He's great. I'm terrible.
Logic is like a spaceship to me, so I'm like still figuring it out. But it's definitely like an asset to have, like to be like, oh, I make my own demos. Like,
right.
That's super helpful. So.
Right. At least it'll like get you into co-writes with like being able to better communicate.
Right.
You just seem like a different like breed of human that I think you are. That
I know.
Certainly am not. That's like what these people that are just so drawn to computers and like
they're so good at it.
I don't understand it at all. It's like I want to get like from A to B really really quickly.
Like I can't even make my Instagram look good. Not to mention like handle Logic, but I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
I think well, both of us are getting better, and I'm like starting to get to the place where the things coming out I feel like genuinely proud of and can can stand next to a lot of things. Vocal production is really hard, but it definitely came. It's been like since I graduated college and moved to New York that I like started learning it, and it was all by necessity when I started scoring music for for short films and videos. And even though this was a frustrating time of my life, like a huge benefit that I was working with a lot of like comedians who were making sketch comedy videos, and so like they would come up with the zaniest things like it's like can you do like a throwback 90s like kind of like maybe it would be the theme song for like a zany cartoon of the 90s, or it's like we need a Les Mis parody, or do you know how to make a hip hop beat? And so I'm like,
guess I do now.
Yeah, give me 72 hours and a YouTube tutorial.
I know, right?
Lock myself in the basement. And so, I mean, it is like, you just kind of like run up against this wall. I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
But it's never something that intrinsically interests you?
It interests me. Like, I'm very fascinated and I want to know. I'm the kind of person who like says yes to everything.
Yeah.
And so, like, I want to be able to like do that. So when people are like, hey, can you make a demo for this? I'm like,
gotcha.
Yeah. So... I mean, it interests me. It just kind of scares me a little because it's like so much to look at.
It's especially talk about a learning curve, and you know, I'm definitely the type of person that says yes to everything, and because of that, I'm trying to pare back and like learn how to specialize. Yeah. And so I learned a lot by saying yes to too many things, but now I'm trying to like refocus. Like, you know, if you communicate like. Or you can call me for anything. I do this and this and this. Like, people won't call you for anything, but you want to be the person that, like, I call this person for this.
Yeah.
I call Lauren not because she records my demos, because I need a Lauren, you know? And so you try to, like, widen the funnel and figure out what, like, feels right, and then, like, try to narrow it back down so you get specialized enough that people will call you for something.
That's a really good point,
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you've had it's a pretty, you know, you're still pretty young, but you've worked with a lot of people and seen a lot of people with different career paths in Nashville and here. But do you have, at this point, have you gained any insight, like if you could give advice to someone who, like a 3 years younger version of yourself as to what direction you should take?
Wow. I would definitely tell a version of myself 3 years ago that, like, I think me 3 years ago was thinking everything I had to write had to be amazing. And so I would write, like, songs that were like, oh, they were okay. Right. And I'd be like, oh, you're not a good writer anymore. Like, I just needed to chill the heck down.
Mojo,
like, whoa, girl, you got to chill. Like, you have to write 50 songs to get, like, 5 good ones, you know? Like, I was just so focused on making sure that everything I created was great.
I'm so not comfortable with that, especially lyrically. I'm really hard on myself lyrically.
I'm so hard on myself.
Yeah. I mean, musicians always have, I feel like a lot of them, not all of them, have ego issues anyway, so it's kind of like, once you write one bad one, you're like you said, like, oh, my talent's gone.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is it.
I wrote 3 good songs as a fluke, and now I'm terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, it actually goes through your head,
oh
you know?
my gosh, I'm like, 100%. I guess I ripped someone off, and I'm terrible.
I know.
Right.
Okay, other than that, do you anything else that you would say to yourself?
Me 3 years ago, I think the whole thing of just to kind of like, I knew what I liked 3 years ago. I listened to a lot of that Laurie McKenna singer-songwriter kind of stuff, but I was convinced that if I wanted to like make money and be successful, I had to write radio smashes.
Right.
So I guess to kind of just like follow what you actually like and love, because when you're performing that kind of stuff, people will know that it's what you love to do.
Gotcha.
When I'm like singing pop songs that I don't necessarily love, like it's not as authentically me, I guess. I don't know. Just like be yourself.
And
because
you think people can tell?
I can tell.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's the most, hardest advice to hear and to
I know.
give.
I think you have to go through it to understand it.
I think so, and because it sounds so corny because you hear it so often.
Right.
But even in my couple months, we grew up on like Billy Joel, Elton John, like the original piano rockers, and maybe it's just that I kind of model my voice after those people, and when I'm singing those songs, that is how it comes out. But it's still like that's the stuff I play that people stop and listen for more than like when I.
All right, Uptown Funk. Yeah.
Right, yeah. When I play Bruno Mars or Ed Sheeran, like people it doesn't really read. So,
that seems not authentic. That's fair enough. I hadn't thought
It's
about
very true. I started playing a cover of "I Can't Make You Love Me." Great song. I love that song. And like people were stopping so much more to listen to me sing that than they were like a Bruno Mars song or something. Right. I love Bruno, but like I love Bonnie Raitt and like all that stuff. And I think people can like genuinely tell like, oh, this girl's like super into this. Yeah.
First time I played Hallelujah on a request, I was like, this is gonna kill the crowd, and it like people
love it.
Flocked. Yeah. So that's
it's interesting. Really
since there are a lot of like, I'm sure. Since you're moving to a music industry town, you're learning that there's a lot of work in the music industry that's not, like you said, being a pop star and writing radio smashes. Is the artist path kind of the one you're on, professional songwriter? What do you see being like the post-college career?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Lots of my friends are like straight out of college getting like signed or whatever.
Right.
It can be like a little bit of pressure because you're like, oh, dang.
Right, especially when everyone around you is
and that's so much to navigate because signing with a label is such a huge deal where you can get swindled, you could like get in when you're like 20, like, sure, I'll do whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so much pressure.
And we're pretty, I for sure am like pretty like preach the DIY thing because like I have conflicting feelings about labels in general, but
I mean, I've heard a lot of people tell me just stay independent as long as you can.
Yeah, until they're begging
or if like they're offering you something that genuinely like will help you and
that you could never do yourself.
Yeah, like people in Nashville always say like if you're gonna sign with a publisher or a record label, like make sure they're like your biggest fans. Make sure they genuinely love what you do.
Right, not that you just like pitch them and they're like, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it would be cool to like be a songwriter for a little bit, but in the long run, like I want to be singing my own songs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Switching topics a little bit because I would feel like I would regret not bringing it up. You were recently on America's Got Talent.
Yes, I was.
Very cool. I mean, maybe very cool. Was it cool?
It was very cool.
Yeah. What on earth is that experience like?
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'd never done anything like that before. Because even doing acting, like I'd never done TV stuff.
Right.
I did like a Puffins commercial once, but like reality TV. Oh yeah,
that's nothing to scoff at. Yeah.
Yeah, I
awesome.
ate so many Puffins. Like we ate Puffins all day.
Do you like a lifetime supply?
No.
Well, never mind. I take it back. What a waste.
It was cool. I just never want to eat Puffins again.
Yeah, probably for
sure.
But it's just different.
How did it come about in the first place, and what was the process like?
So they contacted me and they were like
we saw your YouTube videos.
Yeah, we saw your Instagram. Like we're in Nashville. It was literally like a few days before. Like, can you just come in? It was at like a really creepy warehouse. I was like, this is kind of weird. But they were super nice, and I mean, there's just cameras like in your face, which is something I'm just not used to.
Right.
But I sang my songs. I like played keyboard. The sustain pedal was broken. I was like, this is going.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
Isn't that just annoying? I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but
we basically like don't play.
I guess I quit now.
I can't play piano without a sustain pedal.
Oh, of course.
But they really wanted to hear me play keys, and I was like, but I guess they loved it.
Went well enough,
yeah, and lots of phone calls happened, and they ended up flying like my family and me because I'm a triplet. Fun fact.
That is
wow.
Yeah, and they were like in love with that because they were like, "Wow, this is so cool." So
that makes for good TV.
Yeah, they flew me out to LA, and I mean, it was amazing just because like I learned so much about TV and how it works, and there's just cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's a live audience, so there was like 2,000 people, and they all stood up and clapped for me. So
sweet.
I ain't mad about it.
Did you play one of your songs?
They had me doing an Ed Sheeran cover, Shape of You. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, but it was cool.
is that like something? Is that something that your classmates at Belmont also do? Is that like people are like talking strategy about how to get onto The Voice? Where do you see yourself in relation to like that TV industry?
I think in general people are finding out about Belmont more, and I think the shows are finding out about Belmont too, because when I was there, literally like it was just Belmont students everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, so I was like, they must know that like, you know, Belmont's this up and coming school, but it's definitely a thing people at my school like go audition for, because we're all kind of like, why not, you know?
Yeah, see what happens.
But I think you kind of like quickly realize whether it's for you or not for you, just because it's very intense. Yeah.
And especially, you know, that's pretty amazing exposure that plenty of people have not been able to capitalize on once it's over. So it's one of those things that you got to decide if you would even like want to be successful at.
Right. That's very true.
Did you notice an upswing in your following after
a little bit? Yeah.
Just like Instagram followers and stuff? Or?
They didn't like put my name on the screen or anything.
Oh, really?
Because it was like a quick little montage. But people found me.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, like I want to say I got like 100 or so followers, which is
awesome.
cool. Like, I don't know how they found me, but like, good for you for being a stalker.
Yeah, okay.
Redhead, Nashville.
Yeah, I guess it's not that hard.
Yeah, probably not.
It did have my first name, so.
Oh, doable.
Yeah, that's doable. For a seasoned Facebook stalker.
No.
I know, right?
Yeah. A couple maybe wrap-up questions I'd like to ask.
Yeah, of course.
Any, first of all, do you have any songs that you're like listening to on repeat right now, obsessively? And two, like, top two guilty pleasures, or top one guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure songs.
Song, not just general, yeah.
I've been listening to the new Charlie Puth record.
Okay.
Tons.
Sames.
Yeah.
It's just good. And, like, I dance to
What's
it.
your top song?
I really like Boy.
Yes! Sames.
That's my favorite
That's
one.
a jam.
So good.
Yeah,
That's a summer bop right there.
I know.
There's a handful of those that I like am super impressed by and really interested to see, like, you know, what he does, especially because he seems like to have a really
Obsessive.
tight grip on producing his own stuff and like writing a lot of his own stuff. So I wonder like how he's gonna transition for sure. Like I'm really.
There's some jams on there.
Yeah, he's an amazing writer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Any guilty pleasures musically?
Guilty pleasures. People have asked me this question before. I mean, like, guilty pleasures.
Could be a genre, could be an artist.
I know. I love listening to, like, rock music in the morning. Really random.
Okay.
And Beyonce. I would call that a guilty pleasure. Just because I don't listen to Beyonce on the reg, but, like...
Okay, sure.
You're a closet Beyonce fan?
Yes. Like if I'm in the car with my friends and it's, like, the right time, I'll, like, whip out some Beyonce jams, yeah.
And what kind of, like, rock in the morning? Like
80s rock or like...
ZZ Top.
Oh, there you go.
In the morning. I don't know why. I love it so much. I just do.
We'll make like a little controversy thing. Lauren says she hates Beyonce.
Oh my god, clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. You won't believe.
Watch what she had to say about the Queen Bee.
Oh my god. But yeah, you guys should listen to Lauren McKenna too.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
She just came out with a new record and it's really good.
That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, should we get you singing some schlongs?
I think so.
Some
Yeah.
schlongs?
What are you gonna play for us this evening?
Well, this is one I wrote with my friend Jamie Floyd down in Nashville. She was kind of talking. It was at a time when like a bunch of famous musicians had passed away, and she had this idea. She was saying that like when someone passes away, you can look at it as your first day without them, but you can also look at it as their first day in heaven. And I was like, oh my gosh, we gotta write that. So we wrote a song called First Day in Heaven. I still made a full pot of coffee, woke up early and did your laundry. Your brother called around 3 o'clock. I meant to tell you, but I forgot. Trying hard to make today ordinary, but the more I try, the more it hits me. No way around going through my first day. My first day without you.
the hardest thing I'll ever do. How can I be here when you're not anymore? Ooh, that's the thing about firsts. They can be the best or the worst. And today mine is nothing like yours. But it makes me smile for a second knowing it's your first day in heaven. Well, I can laugh and I can cry, knowing tears don't work there in the sky. You're happy with no end in sight. You're having the time of your life. I bet right now you're getting fit from wings. There's a silver glow to everything. It closes the break in my heart, knowing right where you are. On my first day without you, the hardest thing I'll ever do. How can I be here when you're not anymore? Well, that's the thing about firsts. They can be the best or the worst. And today mine is nothing like yours. But it makes me smile for a second knowing it's your first day in heaven. Look out for me and don't ever stop. Just know today might be hard to watch. On my first day without you, the hardest thing I'll ever do. How can I be here when you're not anymore? Ooh, that's the thing about firsts. They can be the best or the worst. And today mine is nothing like yours. But it makes me smile for a second, knowing it's your first day in heaven.
This one is a song I actually wrote it on a songwriting retreat with Laura Brown and Jackie Gray. Jacqueline and Jackie. But yeah, it's called The Architect.
Build your walls out of steel instead of wood. In hell, how I'd burn them down if I could. You shape the edges and rip out all of the pages, tear them out until there's nothing left. You want it all perfect, but I don't fit the blueprint. You never want to go outside the line. You've hung up all the pictures, so precise it figures, 'cause your life is so carefully designed. But there's no room built for two, 'cause that's just what you do. Well, you are fancy cars and rooftops, Ivy League. rides on a Sunday, a denim jeans, pressing proper. They all tell you to just drop her. I'm always on the outside looking in. You want it all perfect, but I don't fit the blueprint. You never wanna go outside the line. You've hung up all the pictures, so precise it figures, 'cause your life is so carefully designed. But there's no room built for two. Foundations cracked, there's no going back, 'cause that's not what I do. You want it all perfect, but I don't fit the blueprint. You never wanna go outside the lines. You've hung up all the pictures, so precise it figures, 'cause your life is so carefully designed. But there's no room built for two, 'cause that's just what you do.